Heading into bye week, the Warriors were hoping to put an end to their 3-game losing streak, and they did that, just didn't do it well too on Friday night. They dominated from the outset against the Bulldogs and were able to hold on to a convincing victory with minimal injuries to their squad. Thank God. I would call that a win in more ways than one, and I'm guessing Webby would too. He's on the line joining us this morning. Morning, Webby. How are you this morning?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Must be pleasing, mate, to get that win going into bye week.
Definitely, mate. I don't think if you had said to me 2 weeks ago how important it was, I wouldn't have thought that. But during the week, I definitely felt the boys were, certainly hanging on by a thread, their bodies, and they certainly needed a rest. And they, to their credit, once again, they came out and played that tough and really earned the win, I thought. So, and a really well-earned break.
Yeah, look, I don't think anyone really understands the battle that game and what it was happening in that second half. But, mate, I've never seen you with so much emotion after Volkman went over that try. You were pretty happy.
Oh, mate, there was a bit of carry-on there by me. But the boys have been celebrating after tries, so I decided I've got to start following suit a little bit. Mate, it was important. We were 18-0 up. I thought we were dominating, and we let them back into the game 18-6. And that we weren't really playing great footy. We were just hanging on there, and we're playing tough. And then that little loose ball pick-up by Ronnie Grubber and try, it got me a little excited, I have to admit.
Hey. Yeah, we'll see the excitement out there, Webby, mate. Appreciate you coming on. Just a wee update in terms of the injuries. I know Volkman played through a broken finger. What a tough wee lad that is. But Chance Nicol-Clodstad had a bit of a niggle at the end. Any update on the return of Jazz Tavanga?
Yeah, so Jazz will be probably another 6 weeks, I'm thinking, 5 or 6 weeks. He did a fair job to that calf, so he's going to be a while. We've got 2 buys, obviously, this week and another one in about 3 weeks' time around that. So that's a pleasing bit. He won't miss as many games as normal. Ronnie, obviously, he dislocated his finger, and then the bone went through the skin. So, he did a great job to keep playing there, Ronnie, on the weekend. So I'm really proud of him, to do that. And Chance pulled up okay, mate.
Yep.
But we're slowly starting to get a few back, so that's exciting. There's a few that are still long-termers, but we've got Luke Metcalf back on the weekend and played reserve grade, and he played well. Gave him 40 minutes, and he scored a good try, so that was exciting.
Yeah, he showed some good pace too for that try going through in a nice left-hand fend, mate. Shaun Johnson again played a stellar part in the game on Saturday night. His kicking game especially was on point. Is there any update on whether or not the club's going to be signing him again for next year?
Oh, mate, we're in a situation there where Shaunie's, him and I have spoken, look, when it comes to the crunch and you've got all these opportunities, if they're all on the table, come and talk to us, sit down and we'll work it out. Obviously there's a salary cap, so I don't, we want Shaun at our club. We don't want him to leave at all. We just got to make sure that we're in the right situation to be able to keep him. So that's why our conversations between Shaun and I are really relaxed at the moment. Not because we don't want to keep him, that's completely the opposite. Just feel like he needs to know what all cards are on the table. But, we obviously love him, and the way he's playing at the moment's great. And we certainly don't want to go anywhere. So, but, around all the speculation and all these offers and stuff like that, Shaun's yet to come and sit down and say, wherever you right, it's kind of someone needs to have a chat to you. So when that comes, we'll address it then, and it's not there yet.
Beautiful. Love that little update there from Shaun Johnson. Hopefully, with the way he's playing, he stays on and we get to see more of SJ. But let's talk about that game, mate. There was a lot of carry-on in the week before, and we had Joe from Gizzy come on. The first time in 37 games I've been on the right side in terms of penalties and discipline. Were you happy with the discipline on the weekend? Was it surprising, some of the calls that were being made, knowing what's went on in the previous weeks?
I've been pretty vocal. I felt like we needed to take the referee out of the game. I said it to them at halftime again. I said, look, boys, don't be sitting here after the game, whinging or blaming anyone else, and they haven't won. So that's been the pleasing part. I felt like there was a couple of smart calls by our boys. I think the Sean had his arms on the ball and Tavita Pengai let go of it. I thought that was a smart challenge and the right call.
Yeah.
And then there was obviously a knockback rake for one of their tries, which definitely wasn't a try. So to be honest, I just felt like they got it right. I certainly don't feel like there's any favouritism towards us. We certainly gave away our fair share of 60 goals on our try line, and in that second half, we were trying to hold our gloves up defensively. But I thought the referees did a good job, and the boys, I thought their discipline for the majority of it was really good.
Mate, there's some groundswell starting to happen, and it's always going to happen when you've got a player of Roger's calibre playing on the bench for the Blues. Is there any talk or any likelihood that he'll get released early and come back this year?
But honestly, Kempy, I'd not spoken to Roger. I'd run him a text probably a week after it got announced just to say, thinking of him. My big thing is I want to be really respectful to him and his dreams of rugby union. He's got some unfinished business there, and I don't want to stand in the way of that. So I've not had one conversation with him about coming back, and that's the honest truth. So I think it would be disrespectful if I went out and made comments that we want Roger now and all that sort of stuff, particularly to his current employer. So we're going to stay away from that, and that's the honest truth. We have not made one approach to Roger, and Roger hasn't made one approach to us.
Well, I'll make that comment for you because I'll wear that one. Like, yeah, Roger, come back, mate, if you're listening. We need you at the Warriors, so get back here, mate, and put that jersey on. Hey, mate, just to talk a little bit about the shape. Like, have you settled now that it's probably best for Dills to play in the middle of the park? Man, that pass to Adam Whanoa-Blake, how nice are those soft hands of his when he does get that pass right along with Tohu, who does exactly the same?
Yeah, look, we never wanted to move Dylan away from there. I just think it was more of a case where Ronnie's young. He played against the Sharks and did a good job, but felt like he needed a little bit more development, a little bit more football under his belt. And then obviously he got that opportunity again on the weekend and came back. But I felt like we definitely missed Dylan in the middle of the field with his foot speed and him going at tight defenders and just how far he plays when he comes off the bench. So, to be fair, we never wanted him to leave that role, but we kind of needed him to do that just because obviously the shortage of Tamati being injured and just making sure we brought Ronnie along at the right time.
The Bald brothers can't wait for Jazz to come back and have that impact again with Dylan Walker there in the middle. Mate, just quickly, I've noticed the real change in the defence. Like, what has Justin Morgan done in the off-season and this season to change the form of the defensive unit? Because I think defence has been outstanding. Previous years you've leaked plenty, but this year you've been fighting the effort, mate. What is the big change from Justin Morgan?
So we changed the way we set our structures up, the way we coached it. So instead of going Morgs does defence, Rich Agar does attack, and Stacey does last plays, we made everyone responsible for it. So Rich Agar works with our ends in attack and defence, and Justin Morgan does our forwards in defence and attack. So and then Stacey obviously does our transitions on our last play. So our kicking is responsible for Sean kicking so well and making sure we've got a last play. So we changed that up a little bit just to give everyone a bit of responsibility around it. But I think the biggest thing is the way we trained in the pre-season. And I felt like
you're looking fit.
We fundamentally, we had to be fit. You've got to be fit to defend well. We're putting a lot of emphasis on our kick chase and putting pressure on the opposition. We haven't got them all right. We've got to keep working at that. But we're pretty keen to play sort of grinding football. I think the biggest improvement's been our goal line defence. We can sort of absorb pressure for longer periods of time. And I think that's just structurally that everyone's finding to, what turns oppositions away. And the biggest thing we've got a lot of confidence and belief out of, if you do turn them away, then it sucks energy out of them. They lose confidence because they can't crack you. So there's a lot that's gone into it, but I reckon for how hard the boys are trained. and then how much they've started to believe in what the defensive principles are and how they're helping us.
Yeah, and it's working. Well done, mate. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us this morning, Webber. You go and enjoy yourself on this bye week, and catch up with you down in Napier when we come down to call that game. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning on Izzy and Kippy for breakfast.
Awesome. Thanks for the support, guys. See you later.
There he is, Andrew Webster, talking Warriors. They're in a good little run at the moment, and we're right behind them here on SENZ.